Hey. Good morning. Top of the morning. A morning stream, yeah. What am I doing? Crazy. A crazy person. I've lost me mind. Hello, friends. And welcome to a noon stream because I can't get my life together. Vine Sauce Joel versus Let's Read Joel. There's so many versions of me. But yeah. Hope everybody's having a good morning. I missed the past couple ones. My sleep schedule has been so fudged in the bum that I just been missing it, you know what I mean? I think when I first started streaming, well, not really when I first started streaming, but like you guys probably recall if you've been here for 6 months at least or something, there was a period of time where I was just very erratic with my streams, and I'm very consistent with my YouTube videos because those are, I feel like, a little bit easier to manage, you know what I mean? Like, there's something strange about streaming, even though I do really enjoy it. It's like, it's difficult, you know, it's difficult to keep up with, I suppose, because it's kind of like very much in your face and you have to be engaged during the whole process. But we will be reading, you know, doing the same shiz as normal for the... Actually, I have a lot of respect for a lot of streamers, like gaming streamers and stuff like that. Obviously, you know, you're not digging ditches or anything like that on the side of a hot Texas highway or anything, but, you know, the fact that, like, some of those streamers are sitting there in front of their computer with a cam on, you know. Yeah, that's Mario 64 sounds, baby. You know, they got a camera in front of them. They're showing their true self to a degree, you know, for 12 hours a day. Man, I don't know how some of them do it. I think it might be a little bit easier playing a video game. You don't have to be quite as engaged, but it's I got a lot of respect for them because, I don't know, YouTube is a little bit more like, it's like there's a plan of attack with YouTube. Like with the live streams, you kind of have to like just do everything off the cuff, which can be difficult sometimes, but you know, I'm just happy to be here. Anyways, Letty Ramos with the dude says, "Hey Joel, how are you?" Thank you, Letty, for the 2. I'm doing good. It's about 12:30 here. Now, you know, since there is a video coming out today, oh, Bread Monty got a notification. Nice. Yeah, never too early for scary stories. Silos, thank you for the 2. But yeah, since there's a video coming out today, I was kind of worried, like, oh shit, like, am I, you know, getting distracted by the chat and that kind of thing? Am I even going to have enough time to edit everything? But I imagine I will. Really, pretty much got it down to a science at this point. Do a story on psycho ex-girlfriend that ruined people's lives. Yeah, there's quite a few of those thrown in there from time to time. Just tweet this out. Twitty tweet tweeties. You thought streams were over. Why? Joel didn't stream for 3 days. They're canceled forever. Good morning, princess. Good morning. Yeah, Sunday I was gonna stream, but I like had been up since the morning, and then I fell asleep at like 1, and I was gonna wake up at 3 or something, go to the gym, and then I ended up sleeping all the way to fucking like 8:30 p.m. or something. And then as I was waking up, I was like, well, it's stream time. And I am like mentally not in the right fortitudes to stream at this point. So I missed that one. And then for the Tuesdays, or what day? Yeah, yesterday's stream, I had been up, I only slept like maybe 3 or 4 hours or something weird, or just like I don't know, it was very strange. And then I was up since like 5 a.m. and I was like, set the stream at the normal time because, my gym time kind of like keeps me consistent. But then by the time I got back from the gym and was gonna stream, I was fucking like exhausted. So I was like, well, maybe I can do a morning stream. And yeah, I guess all this conversation doesn't need to be like constant meta discussion of streaming all the time. I can just chat with you guys. Breadmont, thanks for the 2, says, give us a nice slurp. Also collab with Jensen. Yeah, I'm always down to collab with Mr. Jensen. He just, he just needs to come play video games with me. It's kind of hard to do a slurp with a hot coffee. I burnt myself for you, Breadmoth. I did that for you. Thank you for the 2. And Maya B with the 5 says, wow, this is early. I'm dropping to say hello and give a donation. Much love. Thank you, Maya. It's good to see you. Yeah, just changing up a little bit today. Keep you guys on your toes. Wake and bake. Yeah. I know some people really were into that process. Like, just high 24/7. I guess that was more so back in college. But, and I have no problem with that. I understand that's just what people do. My buddy was, like, yesterday I was hanging out with them. They went over there. They got their whole science kit, you know what I mean, of dabs. And I'm like, and it's just funny, like, imagining my friend and how dope he is, and he's got this fucking, like, giant butane torch, just like he's about to, like, caramelize his entire skin, you know what I mean? And, I mean, did you ever burn yourself with this fucking thing? And he's like, nope. As he's, I don't know, it's, I can only imagine, like, if somehow they figured out how to just concentrate THC into a, Shrek-like earwax, where marijuana will end up in the future. Maybe they'll just have contacts that have weed on it, and you just absorb it through your eyeballs all day. And you're just, like, super bloodshot. But personally, for me, I don't really like to get high or drink, really, or anything like that, even though you saw me drunk on my birthday. I just like to be of sound mind. Joel's online classes, OnlyFans. Yeah, we'll teach everything you need to know in my OnlyFans, but you have to find it too. You have to go through my Let's Breed page on Pornhub. You're doing training for new division at work. Should be paying attention because it's for management position, but Let's Read is on, so here I am. Yeah. Fuck 'em, dude. Fuck. No, I'm just kidding. You do what you need to do. Don't let me distract you, but if me voice helps you. Oh, this is a cool beat. Dude, I love fucking Mario, dude. Ass or tits. I think I'm definitely more of an ass person. Ass or tits. Well, for me, it's more about the clavicle. But I don't even remember what I was talking about. That's the thing, is I can't smoke because my brain's already broken. It would just send me into overdrive. Oh, Breadmouth, you drinking some coffee too? Nice. What are you drinking? Raven, thank God you ain't got none. That's okay. Mustafa with the $1 buckaroo. Thank you, my friend. Locating Joel's OnlyFans and the internet's biggest unsolved mystery. Yeah, that'll be included in one of our future mystery videos. Also, thank you guys for, giving a lot of positive feedback on some of the sort of, like, I don't want to say that they're audio documentaries, but, like, we did the 4 missing persons video, the internet mysteries video, and stuff like that, you know. So I appreciate you guys are like into that, you know, because I can't always like basically for me it's like you know, I do have a lot of like stories, you know, incoming from you guys as far as true scary stories, and trying to sort through those, you know, to create theme videos and things of that nature. It can be very time consuming at times, but also I suppose like, you know, you're not always going to have enough content to create, you know, those type of theme videos all the time. So going into some in-depth research into what would still be considered like true scary stories per se, I've been really stoked about that, just because it's I don't know, it's really interesting to me, you know what I mean? It's not just like some guy, some girl, and a creeper or something like that. It's like some like historical bits of information that I still think is pretty pertinent to what you guys are into and all that shit. Do I like cats more or dogs more? Honestly, like when I was younger, I grew up with dogs, you know, so I was always like, dogs rule. But I would think it was mainly just because I didn't understand cats, you know. And then I got Pradeep 6 years ago, and he's such a good boy, and I treat him like a dog pretty much, like as far as like aggressively loving him. And so he's acts very dog-like in certain like affections, I suppose. And then when I interact with other cats, like other friends' cats, I kind of know how to like be a little bit more gentle with them, I suppose, you know. And because yesterday, my buddy, like, they were in town and they brought their 2 dogs, and then his like mother-in-law's like dog as well, that we all took them out into the field to run and stuff. And it's just, I don't know, like the love and affection and like dopiness that like a bunch of big dogs give you is just like something that's completely different from a cat, you know what I mean? Where it's like you kind of feel like you need that in the sense of having like a big living teddy bear that like unconditionally loves you at all times. But at the same time, it is nice to have like sort of low responsibility of raising having a cat, because they're just like, I mean, he's right behind me, he's like rolled over on his back, just like sprawled out with his wiener out, you know what I mean? But like if he ever needs to go anywhere and go, you know, piss or shit or eat, he just can go do it on his own. Axeman, what's up, my dude? Kylie Woo, thank you for the 5. Thank you. And Marie Alyssa Ruiz with the 5 says, top of the morning to you, mate. Top of the morning to you. Slappity slap. That's so funny. I used to be such a fucking hater, dude. Like, when it comes to like content creators and shit like that. Like when I was younger, I was like, dude, fuck Let's Players. And Ivana, hello. Welcome. Doing good. You know, I used to be just a hater when it came to like content creators that were like, you know, doing the easy route for different stuff, where I felt as if though it was easy. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, the fact that people are grinding in this kind of like world, it's just, to me, is dope. And I'm just on board with it. Because like for a while I used to like talk shit on Dr. Disrespect, you know what I mean? Like, but then the more I thought about it, and the more I looked at it, I'm just like, that motherfucker puts a ridiculous amount of effort into maintaining, you know, a amazing production value, but also like borderline method acting, and then just also being, you know, a pretty stand-up dude. I mean, aside from the whole wife thing, but like, you know, aside from that, we all make mistakes. Like, and just when you listen to him, he like motivates a lot of his audience to just like keep fucking trucking along, you know what I mean? And that to me, I think, is a lot stronger at times than mistakes that we've made, you know, even though those kind of get lorded over us a lot more. But hey, Alec, what's up? Yo, Joe, what up? Alec, I was actually going to message you. I was curious if you could be on the prowl for some more permissions whenever you get a chance, just because we're kind of starting to dig through those a bit. Thank you, my friend. And Christopher Nelson with the 150. Thank you, Christopher. And Ali, or Ali, I'm not quite sure, with the 5. Thank you so much for that. Axeman says, howdy doody. What are you up to, Axeman? It's daytime. Am I supposed to be awake right now? The sun isn't quite burning my skin like the coven told me it would. I don't know, like, I was listening to Dr. Disrespect. He was on, like, I think 2 days ago or something like that. And just the shit that he gets into, just, like, his ability to, like, make moves is really impressive. Like, he gets shit on by Twitch, but then within, like, a month, he's built up a lot of, like, hype around his name, marketing-wise, and it's a lot of mystery, you know what I mean? It's like he's like a marketing genius, you know what I mean? And then he was a community organizer, I think, and, like, level designer over at, like, Treyarch and Call of Duty and all that kind of shit. And he brings everybody over to YouTube, does, like, a day of just, like, gearing up for the stream, gets a ton of, like, members and followers and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Like, building up hype again. And then he just comes back and hits it hard. He even just, like, mentions this one game. I forget what he was playing, but and then he immediately gets a sponsorship from them for the next stream, and I'm just like, that guy makes it happen. But the one motivating thing he was saying, like, in regards to exercise, he's like, all I ask is, say you don't do it. Go out there, do something, walk, jog, jumping jacks, 10 minutes of something, get the sweat going, take off tomorrow, or he says, like, do it again tomorrow, and then it was just, like, very incrementally, like, trying to encourage people to just get into exercise, because eventually he was just saying about how it's very addictive, and I can agree with that, where it's just like, it is a very addictive experience, like, once you experience, like, what your body is actually capable of, and you just feel that sense of fulfillment, I guess. It's a very, primordial, type of thing. And it's pretty sick. Suck Her Punch with the 5 says, not mad, but why so early of a stream? This feels odd. Yeah, just my sleep schedule was all sorts of messed up, and then I missed the previous streams just due to sheer tiredness at the time of it happening. But I was just gonna record today, but I thought, you know what, I feel bad leaving you guys without something, you know what I mean, as far as streams go. So, Hannah, you're not late. We are about to start in 2 minutes here. You are just in time. A wizard arrives precisely when she means to. Do I lie to my fans, or do I always say the truth? That's a good question. I don't know. Probably a mix of everything, I guess. I don't know. I don't even understand that question. Do you lie to me whenever you say you love me? And that my voice makes you tingly in your loins? Tell me the truth. Hawk is here. Pulanita. Hello, hello. We missed you as well. I do miss you guys. You guys definitely make me feel. You make me feel like a natural streamer. Yeah. Go to my YouTube settings? What are we talking about? Easy. Go to your YouTube settings. Winter's here. Brittany's here. Kimchi's here. Judith's here. All these beautiful green names. Beautiful faces. Beautiful profile faces. Gothic's here. Hello. Ring hap. I used to do a Yoshi voice.
Yes, Yoshi. Yoshi.
Fave Star Wars. Honestly, I just like the Star Wars fan lore. I feel like, honestly, if next time they make a Star Wars movie, Disney, I think they should just let the fucking fans write it, I've gone on rants about Star Wars in the past, but there's a thing about being a corporate entity that you'll never in a million years be able to connect with your fans on a personal level in a boardroom. You know what I mean?
Secretly, yes,
You'll just like you'll never be able to like understand what they want. You'll never be able to push the message that they're going to like as a whole appreciate. Do you ever notice like sometimes someone releases something and it was just like a passion project, and then everyone loves it, and then the sequel, sometimes the sequel lives up to it, like in like The Dark Knight or something, and it's like actually better, or it just it just ends up pissing people off because I think like too many hands get in the pot, and then it becomes like it's like spreading the butter out too much on toast, and it just doesn't have that savory sense of lard. Leslie, hello. Welcome. As a whole. Not you, the Fry is saying funny things. Fry's just an in-house funny guy. Burnt Ash, your vids get me from one day to the next. Love your content. Thank you, my friend. I'm glad I can help you. You took on UFC fighter Rory McDonald and beat his ass. That's something I completely believe. You asked the question because I left comments and you said that you do read people's comments and you didn't tell me the truth. This is Giovanni, just a heads up. But I'm reading your comment right now. Is that not? I don't. Literally all I do is read comments during my streams. Aside from when I'm reading, which if I'm reading stories, I'm not going to be able to read comments. By rules of deduction, 2 eyes, 1 mouth. I need 2 mouths probably. 2 mouths, 2 voice boxes. Scare Central inspired you to start your own channel. Nice. I hope you do well. Well, guys, we are going to change it up and get into spooky mode midday here. Once again, thanks for being here. Follow me on... Honestly, I bitched out Twitter the other day. Not bitched him out, but like just was talking about how if it disappeared, I don't really think it would have any net negative effect on society. In fact, I think it would be a net positive. But at the same time, the one nice thing about Twitter is that as far as it does operate well as like a notification machine. So if you guys follow me on there and you really want to be kept up to date with pretty much everything that's going through my mind, what's coming out, I can most easily update Twitter all the time on the hypothetical that YouTube doesn't notify you. Or, you're like, why isn't he streaming? And you just check Twitter and I'm like, I pooped my pants. Oh no. Wait, Shorty MK, are you pulling a trick on me? Wait, is it are you guys doing a trolling sensation right now? Like is it loading for you guys? God, you guys get me so hard on this every time. It's not fair. That's like my one OCD thing is that if someone tells me a technical issue is going on, it's like I gotta figure it out. I don't really understand why YouTube can't figure out their notifications. Like, whenever I join Twitch, not like as a streamer. Oh, thank you, Hannah. When I join when I join Twitch, you get notifications on there like nonstop, to the point where it's kind of annoying, you know what I mean? But on here, it's like as if though they're just like selective, like you almost have to earn your notifications for people's channel. But then there's other people that say they get all the notifications, so I don't fucking know what the hell's going on with that, but no big deal. Anyways, yeah, follow me on Twitter at Let's Read Creepy. Follow me on Instagram at letsread.official. Instagram isn't like up to date or kept up to date as much as Twitter is as far as getting info. So probably best to follow on Twitter there, because it's just like quick and easy. And then, yeah, if you guys got a story, please submit them. It's best probably to submit a story to reddit.com/r/let's-read-official, so that people can upvote your stuff and read it and give you feedback, and I can sort through it a lot easier. But if you got a lot of people are kind of, not down with that, even though it's very easy, but you can send me stories in at let'sreadsubmissions@gmail.com. That is totally fine as well. Just trying to make it, grammar nice and all that stuff. Do I update the Let's Read MySpace? I barely update the Let's Read Facebook shit anymore. But I'll have to get back on MySpace at some point. Patricia with the 5 says, get to listen to a little bit of the stream before sleepy time. You're the best. Thank you, Patricia. Sleepy time during the daytime. I feel that. Oh yes, Brian. Go follow my meme page @HornyComputer. Some of the best memes on Instagram that you could possibly ever want. Always going to be making you giggle. So head over there if you're into that shit. If you're into that edgy shit. I'm that dingo with the 5 says, I always miss your live stream. So freaking cool to hear you talk outside of your narration. Yeah, we change it up a little bit. Like to remind people that I do have a human side. Okay, so we're going to switch over. If you guys didn't know, the music that is always running in the background of all of my normal videos, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, are from usually Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. I probably mentioned that 1,000 times, but for those that don't know. And he is just an amazing dark ambient artist who has a ton of content that'll take you to the furthest lengths of your insanity. Well, also maybe putting you to sleep if you're into that kind of thing. Let's try this bad boy here. So that was Mario and Lo-Fi, if you enjoyed that Mario sort of vibe there. And this one's called Lampadiforos. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's some sort of Latin or something like that. But, or some sort of ancient tongue. Ancient tongues. Am I alive or dead? Well, some sort of mixture of the two. Just got a night shift this morning. I'm stuck between wanting to stay in bed and wanting to get up. I've decided to stay in bed and listen to your stream. Yeah, that's fair. Night shift is difficult. I would suggest to people who do it, understand that it's honestly, you become a different person, and it is kind of in many ways like you're not operating within the realm of the living, I suppose, because so many of them are up and doing things. And I think the worst thing about night shift, whenever I used to work that as a nurse for years and years, was just like whenever I would get off and I would finally have a day off and I'd want to live a normal thing and do like fun things with friends and family and all that kind of stuff. Usually it would come at the sacrifice of sleep. And then I don't know if you've ever been in a scenario where like sleep is the only thing that's like rocking your mind. You like need to get it. You just need to get it, and you can't wait to get back and just have it, and you can't focus on anything other than the sleepies. And man, it's hard. It is really hard. All right, guys, so we got 7 true scary stories from Reddit here for you, all from various amazing authors on there. And yeah, it's going to be litty titty. Yeah, Alec, what are you up to, my home dude? Yeah, last night I joined your Discord, and like I went to move my microphone arm because I finally got this microphone working on Discord. And as I like moved it, I forgot that I put my Boba Fett like mug that I use for everything, to drink, and like it just knocked it onto the floor and just shattered it into a trillion gajillion pieces, like it fell down into the Sarlacc pit. And it was a very sad experience last night. And then I was like, well, I guess I'm done here. All right, so going into this recording, since I've got a little bit of a fan running, I'm gonna have to record 10 seconds of silence so that I can remove that background noise as we move forward. Actually, blah 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 blah. Okay. I was 14 years old when I had to live with my grandparents. I had to live with them because my sister was in college and my parents were divorced. They lived in this old bungalow type house. It was one story, and we have stairs that immediately go up to an attic. An attic which no one really uses. We just put stuff in there. It's too hot and stuffy up there. The sole window up there didn't really help either. The attic had old creaky wooden floors that I remember that I had to polish with a coconut shell, because that's how we do it here in the Philippines. That, and my grandparents are very traditional. My door room. Anyways, my room's door, probably. They just mixed that up. They're from the Philippines, my dude. My room's door was near the stairs leading up to the attic. Like, you open my door and then face right, and the stairs would immediately be right there. I hated that every time I left my room, because I would expect that something would be immediately crawling down from the attic. Just some silly, creepy thought. One night, my grandparents had to pick up my aunt's family from the airport. But because of terrible traffic here, they had to leave at 7 p.m., and their expected arrival back home would be by almost 5 a.m. So, a 14-year-old girl would be alone at home the whole time. I told them I would be safe here. Oh, whoops. But I reassured them that I would be safe here. We live in a gated community. We have tons of guard dogs, and everything would be okay. Or so I thought. Before they left, we already had dinner, so I was stuck with cleaning the dishes and all. As I was doing that, I could hear a bunch of neighboring dogs bark a lot. I didn't really think much of it because the dogs always do that. When I finished cleaning up from dinner, I immediately had to lock every door and window and close all the lights before heading to bed. When I entered my room, the lights were open and it looked normal. My anime posters were on the wall, my closet was untouched, my bed was next to my barred tinted windows. We had to tint them because I was on the first floor and my grandparents wanted to make sure no one would peep in a young girl's room. They were barred too because my uncle, who used to use the room, always escaped through there to go to parties. This was my grandparents' solution to that. Nothing was out of place to alarm me. Everything was normal, until I turned the lights off. It's kind of funny, it says I closed the lights. Until I closed my lights. It was fun. Yesterday, I'll get on a lot of tangents here, but I was hanging out with my buddy, and he had they have a, 16-month-old, Pyrenees, I think it's called, Great Pyrenees. I forget what the breed's called, but it's like this huge white dog. It looks like an Akita, if you're familiar with those Japanese dogs, and just a very imposing figure, but also very cute. He had a curly white tail, and it was just it was just so funny. We took them through the neighborhood, and there's a middle school there, which then because nothing's pretty much going on, we're able to go into the baseball fields that's blocked off and just let them run around. And at one point near the middle school, there's a road, and the Great Pyramid dog, and a car drove by, a big white car just drove by, and I don't even know, I've never seen a dog do this before, but it just it took off along the perimeter of the fence, chasing after the car. And I don't know, I've never seen a dog actually chase after a car before, but it was really, really funny to watch and really cute. But I'm thankful that there was a gate to keep him from just going after it. A pair of knees, dog. What should you get to eat? Oh shit. Maybe some squishy. Nothing was out of place to alarm me. Everything was normal. until I turned off the lights. As soon as I turned off my lights, a silhouette. Fuck. As soon as I turned off my lights, a silhouette of a man was illuminated by the street lights outside. He looked like he had thick, curly hair and a skinny build. I thought I was having hallucinations. So I turned the lights on again, and he was gone. I turned them off again, and I could see him again. Turned off, gone. Turned on. Oops. It's so funny because they're saying I closed the lights, so it's like really confusing to me. Like they close the lights and then they open the lights. It's like, I guess that would make sense in like the more direct translation of like a language, like releasing a floodgate of light, and but it's confusing me. So I turned the lights on again and he was gone. Turned them off again and he was back. Turned them on, gone. Turned them off. Now he was gone. I sighed in relief. I was just tricking my mind, I suppose, or something else was casting the shadow. I double-locked my doors just to be safe, with the doorknob locked and one of those door latch-type locks. Then I tucked myself in. It was hard to fall asleep when a lot of dogs were barking outside. And they weren't our dogs, they were the neighbors, but I was finally starting to fall asleep when I heard something from above me moving. Something in the attic. I pushed down the thought. I'm just having a trick of the mind, I began to think, and I hugged my pillow. Sorry. It's alright. Whenever a story is like a challenge for me grammatically to read, usually the next one just like blows by because I'm like mentally fucking warmed up and ready to rock and roll. Oh, why I'm streaming early? Just because my sleep schedule was weird and I missed yesterday's stream because of sleep, so I was like really tired and I wanted to stream, but then once I got to like 9 p.m. I was like literally my eyes were, as I was standing, were like falling, and I knew that I wasn't going to be in the right mindset to like interact with you guys, so I'm like, whatever, I'll just cancel that. ZQL. I have taken I didn't take any, but like, yeah, I have taken ZQL. Well, I guess it's just the Benadryl is the active ingredient that knocks you out or makes you drowsy. I pushed down the thought, just having a trick of the mind again. I hugged my pillow. It's just rat. Just rat. It's just one rat. It's just rats, I said to myself. These rats seemed heavy and were also pushing furniture around up there, it sounded like. My heart sank when I heard them hurriedly go down the stairs and stop at the bottom. I covered myself with my blanket and I waited for something. I was also wishing that my parents had given me a phone at a time like this, but I only waited in bated breath. Suddenly I heard my doorknob begin to gently fiddle. I wanted to vomit when I heard a click, followed by a quiet turn of the knob. The knob turned, but it didn't budge. When they noticed, they tried to push it. This time I had finally stood up, shaking. I was just a kid, home alone with no phone, no means of defense. All that was saving me was this thick door, an old door. Sorry. The grammar is just fucking me up because it's like all that was saving me was this thick door from the old days. I don't know what that even means, but it's all good. Miley Cyrus's sister's way hotter than Miley. Prove it. Prove it on the scale of 0 to 100. I don't know what that means at all, but... all that was keeping me safe was this thick old door. I softly pushed my body up against the door and locked everything up again. I didn't want to make a sound. I didn't want to scream. I didn't want him to know I was here. I don't know why he stopped, but he just did. I didn't go back to my bed. I just sat there at the door, waiting. It felt like forever. I heard footsteps go up the stairs, but I still sat there. I saw something move out of the corner of my eye. there out the window. The shadow was back, and I forced myself not to look. All I could think of was, thank God they were barred. I don't remember what happened after that. I think I fell asleep, or I was too scared to even think straight. I just remember the next day when my family and I were finally having breakfast. I casually brought it up. Lo, my grandfather, I think I heard footsteps up in the attic last night. My grandfather scoffed. It's probably just rats. I never brought it up again. I didn't want them to worry. I probably was. Whoops, that's confusing. I never brought it up again. I didn't want them to worry. But I do know this. Our dogs were caged up near the gates and were far from my room, so they wouldn't have seen anything. The only dogs who were near my room were the neighbors. Also, there was nothing outside my window that could cast a shadow that looked exactly like a man. Hey Monica, thank you. I wish you the best as well. Cool hand. Not really. Pretty much just the YouTube scenario. No one does the numerical scales anymore. It's all about the tier lists. Alright, well we got, okay. So we got Miley Cyrus and then Miley Cyrus's sister. I need something of reference below and above to kind of let me know where we're at here. Kyle, you met Joel before. Where'd you meet him at? New phase. No, you're good, man. No worries. You're not no dumbness here. No judgment. I didn't even. Yeah, you're good. Is there no music in the stream? I just noticed it's unusually quiet. You know, it's here, but it's like it's kind of like a tone. Maybe if I turn it up, I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. It's more of just like a continuous tone. Let me actually. There's one that I really like. It's called Audible Only to Iguanas. Excuse me. That would be audible to everybody, I think. But yeah, the music is very like low key. Do I do birthday parties? I do. If that birthday party entails people all passing out 15 minutes in. Timmy the Rat. I know this. I thought about that, like the Timmy the Rat meme, and then like this like opening story is gonna be about rats, and then I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a throwback to Timmy, or someone's gonna say that was Timmy, Timmy up there. Hannah, thank you for the blessing. Smooches and smoochies. Noah Cyrus, or wait, okay, Miley, now I gotta get to the bottom of this. Miley Cyrus' sister. Let's see here, my friends. So Miley's 27. That's exciting, I guess. And then Noah Cyrus is a girl. She's 20, perfect. I'm just kidding. Just wanted to make sure you guys weren't baiting me into like doing something not so good there. Noah Cyrus, yeah, Noe Lindsay. That's yeah. Is that a new thing? Naming your girls' boys' names? I guess that's been going on forever. She does have like an interesting like sort of, I don't even know what you want to call it, like the appearance of like within that like sort of gothic range of Billie Eilish. Not saying Billie Eilish is gothic or whatever, but it's like of that sort of same aesthetic. But it's kind of creepy because all the pictures are like, yeah, we'll just move. We're gonna move on. Moving on. A very slow twerking. Nicholas, it's okay. Not a fan though. You like her brother, lead singer for Metro Station. Okay, Miley Cyrus. I'm sorry, I'm going down the Miley Cyrus brother. His name, Trace Cyrus? Jeez, he is tatted inside and out. Holy shit. What the fuck? That guy, I thought he was wearing like a comedic shirt. Like a novelty shirt you get at Walmart, but that, or like for Halloween or something, but that's he literally has an entire manga just scripted all over his body there. Holy hell. That's neat. I saw a really funny... Do you guys remember Bam Margera? Because it's like the same crew. There's this funny video of like Bam Margera on Dr. Phil. And Dr. Phil's like, you gotta, get those toxic people out of your life. And Bam's like, yeah, I know. Because like basically Bam's mom is still kind of essentially up in his shit. And like, but it's like really funny because he's like 39 with like a wife and a kid, you know what I mean? Or maybe multiple kids, I don't really know. And Whale to Sea Wing, you got a good story. Nice, dude. And it was just, they ended up calling his mom, and basically she was just saying that they have like this castle, this huge house out in, I assume, Pennsylvania, out near here or whatever. But yeah, it was funny because he got fat and he looked like his dad, he looked just like Phil, which was really funny to me. But he was like, you're always just like up in my business. You're just always up in my business. And like basically the mom was like, we were asking what you wanted to do with the house as a property, so I gutted it over the course of a year, made it look nice, and we were going to do Airbnb it, and then all you do is bring all your skateboarding transient drunk friends over there, and they just like bring you down into, I assume she's hinting at the fact that he's like an alcoholic and potentially abuses drugs or something. It was just really funny to see him like have like sort of like a teenage like, Mom, you just leave me alone. I don't know. But I guess that makes sense whenever you like don't sort of progress past a certain level of maturity, and I don't fucking know. It's just Moltov says, question, what mic do you use? So right now I'm using an AKG C214 for streaming, and then for recording that you guys hear during the videos, it's an H4n handy recorder, so it's kind of gives you the ASMR vibes. Gives me those vibes. Dr. Phil's son is a singer, and I saw him open for the Jonas Brothers, and I held up a picture of Dr. Phil the whole time, and everyone thought it was great. That's amazing. Holy shit. He was like, that's my dad, thanks. Been in rehab a few times. Yeah, it's a tough road once you go down that route, it definitely has its negative effects. Okay, enough of my celebrity gossip. Time to read an actual story. The Guy Who Spoke to Me on the Phone in the Electronics Department by H.P. Lovecraft. Do I have any tattoos? I do not. Just the one, actually, on my lower back. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Do I prefer to be called Let's Read or Joel? I don't care. Either way, I'm going to get the gist. So I work for a very major retailer you've all heard of. This was from a year and a half or so ago back when I worked in the electronics and photo departments. One afternoon, I answered the phone and spoke to a customer. He wasn't very direct about what exactly he was looking for. At first, he said he was looking for a gift for a family member that he hated. He said he wanted it to be something that would accept... Oops. Bam was really in a severe bad way for a while. He had his leg DR'd in Louisville, doctored in Louisville, and I got to meet him. He was a little bit of a prick to people in the hospital. They were being overly nice to him. Yeah. I can't... I mean, I don't know. I just remember even in, like, the Jackass movies, like... Bam would always do all of the, like, the weird, like, a lot of, like, the weird stunts. Like, he never and he was very whiny about random shit. And I remember, wasn't he like, he was like a professional skateboarder, but I guess it was more just like the brand. Like he had a, he was just signed onto a brand. But I don't remember him being particularly good at skateboarding. Not that it matters. I mean, I would fucking like smack my face off the concrete, but those were the days back in Tony Hawk Pro Skater days. One afternoon, I answered the phone and spoke to a customer. He wasn't very direct about what exactly he was looking for. At first, he said he was looking for a gift for a family member that he hated. He said he wanted it to be something that they would accept because of the obligation, but would absolutely hate. I asked if he was looking for a type of gag gift, and he dodged my question. Instead, he started asking me what I would buy if I wanted to get a gift for a family member like that. I said I wasn't sure, but maybe a movie or some music they didn't like would be a good choice. Then he surprised me by asking what type of movies I liked watching. I said it wasn't anything that would really fit what he was looking for, as I usually watch anime. Next, Shit, we got a weeb. We got a weeb, boys and girls. Next, he asked if that was something I'd want to watch over dinner. I said I certainly do watch it while I eat dinner sometimes, not knowing where he was going with this. Then he said, "No, I meant with me." I laughed nervously and told him no. Then I quickly changed the subject back to what he was looking for and asked if we had a certain TV series in stock. I told him I'd go check. By this point, I was feeling pretty uncomfortable, but I wanted to keep my customer service and not disappoint the customer by being rude. So I found what he was looking for and then told him the price and how many copies were in stock. After this, he asked me some other question about myself, and I told him that perhaps I wasn't the best person to help him, so I handed the phone off to a male coworker. I walked away from the desk at that point and made my way back to the photo department where I felt safer. Sorry. Your sister's dating a weeb and it makes you want to date a weeb. He's gonna turn her into an anime pillow. A dakimakura. Do you guys eat breakfast or skip it? A lot of people say, I mean, it depends. Like, if you're training, for something, it's good to eat so you have those calories available. But if you're trying to lose weight, like, from what I've read, a lot of people say that skipping breakfast is bad. But actually, what ends up happening is, like, say you went to bed at 10 or just midnight, just for math. Yeah. Say you went to bed at midnight and you hadn't eaten since, like, I don't know, 9 p.m. or something like that. And then you skip breakfast and then you didn't eat till noon, so that's a solid, like, 15 hours of, like, fasting. And when you're in a fasting state, your, like, insulin is down and your, like, HGH is up, your human growth hormone or whatever. And just different hormones, like, your body is able to repair itself a lot better when it's not, like, trying to digest food constantly. And, yeah, a lot of people within, like, the sort of realm of keto, the low sugar diets and stuff like that, they say that you should try and just do, like, one meal a day where you're eating between, like, an 8-hour window or, like, a 4-hour window. And just constantly putting your body in a state of, where it's, like, repairing, and it's, intermittent fasting, essentially. And we as a species have been doing that forever, and not every society is as decadent as the United States and Western society, so it's like food isn't as prevalent in other places, so people go for long periods of fasting elsewhere in the world and still seem to be doing just fine. It takes some getting used to, obviously, but I think a lot, like, remember when I do fasting, you just feel lighter, you feel better. A lot of the inflammation and, like, swelling that you've built up in your digestive system, has dissipated. Anyways. I walked away from the desk at that point and made my way back to the photo department, where I felt safer as I wasn't in the direct view of customers who were walking around. I took a moment to collect myself before I left. The next part was of my coworker's interaction with a customer on the phone. My coworker introduced himself in the usual manner and asked how he could help. The man said, "Oh man, where did that cute, bubbly girl go?" My coworker replied with an improvised response of, "Oh, she's actually our photo associate. She doesn't know as much about electronics." To which the customer responded, "Oh, I'd like to see some pictures of her without clothes on." To which my coworker did not know how to respond. The customer then said it would be easier to just shop in person, that he'd be back later to see me, and hung up. I asked my coworker if he was ever able to get the customer off the phone. I asked my coworker if he was able to ever get the customer off the phone. He told me what the customer had said, and I felt literally sick. I was also so terrified of coming into contact with this customer that I went to management and reported the issue to them. They just chuckled and said that there wasn't anything they could do, as it was likely just a prank caller. I was worried about spending any time on the sales floor, but I still had to complete my shift. That evening, I was terrified. I politely asked a male coworker to walk me to my car. I politely asked a male coworker to walk me to my car. He obliged, and thankfully we saw no trace of the creepy guy anywhere, and we've never heard from him ever since then. Ketosis. Spurgly spargly smosis. What's that one word where that kid's like, it's like a spelling bee and it kind of sounds like ketosis? Scoliosis. Can you use that in a sentence? It's hot here in Ottawa. I know, it's hot here too. How hot is it outside? Weather. Let us see. Oh, it's 88 degrees. It's pretty hot. It's pretty hot. Okay, hey Alex, what's up, my dude? I know that was very anticlimactic. I don't really. A lot of these stories get like a ton of upvotes, and then they're just kind of like, oh, all right, nothing fucking happened. Oh, what is it? Oh, iridocyclitis. Yeah, yeah. Iridocyclitis. ISIS. Yes. In high school, I was the weirdo. Always reading classic literature, hair dyed, listening to punk and ska, etc. I had a small group of like-minded friends, but other than us, it was a very straight, white school filled with very closed minds. Until the arrival of Mr. X. Mr. X was different to all of the other teachers. His clothes were unkempt, but in a cool, edgy sort of way. His hair was long and scruffy, and he had an air of rebellion about him. He was, of course, an English teacher, and immediately we became friends. I say friends because I'm now old enough to know how inappropriate that was. But I'd spend lunchtimes in his room talking about Oscar Wilde, Mary Shelley, feminism, etc. We'd listen to cool music and talk about concerts we'd been to. He'd often say things like, "I can't believe you're only 14. You're so mature." I was flattered and felt like he truly saw me for who I was. Writing this 20 years later, I feel embarrassed, but I guess that's how it was. A few moments, sorry. Why do I keep saying moments, sorry? A few months after he joined the school, something changed. Mr. X started sitting too close to me during our lunchtime hangouts. He began asking me to meet him at a local nightclub, famous for letting underage girls in, and I started to view him less as a lone wolf Jack... What the fuck? Jack Kerouac? How the fuck do you say that name? Sorry, I have to figure out how you pronounce this bullshit. Nope. Son of a bitch. I have no idea. Anybody know how to say Jack Kerouac? I feel like I've actually said that in a previous video before.
Pronouncenames.com.
Kerouac. Oh, I remember that now. Yeah, thank you. How many stories? This is story 3 of 7, so. He began asking me to meet him at a local nightclub, famous for letting underage girls in, and I started to view him less as a lone wolf Jack Kerouac. Fuck. And I started to view him less as a lone wolf Jack Kerouac character and more as a bit of a sad and desperate individual. His conversations turned very inappropriate. Little comments like, "No one could ever call you flat-chested," and "I bet you're more experienced in the bedroom," etc. And any air of mystery or intrigue I'd previously believed he had soon disappeared. Eventually, I stopped hanging out with him and moved on. I would think about him occasionally, but more with a shudder than anything else. 2 years later, I opened the local newspaper to see Mr. X's face on the front page. He had been discovered hiding in school, and He had been discovered hiding in the school in a female student's toilet cubicle with mirrors glued to the shoes. Oh, Jesus Christ. I actually just did that sigh as I press record. Fuck. He had been discovered hiding in school in a female student's toilet cubicle with mirrors glued to the tops of his shoes. He would basically upskirt whoever was in the next cubicle. Added to that, he was discovered to have recordings and photos of numerous students, all taken without permission. I have no idea if any involved me, but there were thousands of them I have no idea if any of them involved me, but there were thousands of them found. The police arrested him and he was put in jail for over 10 years. The slight irony is that I am now an English teacher. The love of literature never went away in spite of all this creepiness. Enter Mega Perv. Hello, children, it is me, Mega Pervert. Your English teacher. That would be... Mr. Perv? I've got a question. Save that for after school. Prepare the wood chipper. Throw him in. It's just weird, like the lengths that people will go to to realize their mega pervert superpowers that he has there. Putting fucking like mirrors. Well, first off, you're in a girl's bathroom stall, like as if though I don't even know. I just imagine this male, blatantly massive man's dress shoe foot with a fucking mirror on it, sliding closer to this girl trying to take a piss. My voice makes frogs gay. Thank you. As they should be. As they should be. Maria, this is live. Welcome. You are here. Jack Kerouac was a writer. He wrote a book called On the Road. It's an interesting read. Okay. Instant anime title. Before I begin, I should state that this was a few years ago, and I'm a tiny woman. Back at this time, I look like a teenager, so I've always been mindful that I seem an easy target or easier to fool. I had seen a job interview for a small business looking for a secretary. No experience needed, as they would provide on-the-job training, and as that's the kind of thing I was looking for, I applied. I heard back quickly and was invited to an interview. When I arrived, I was excited. It was a bit of a journey from my home, but it was in a beautiful old building on the third floor with a modern layout inside, though you could tell it was very new as it was bare bones and very little had been unpacked. Still, though, if you have to work somewhere, might as well be a nice building, right? Anyway, the interview seemed normal. I only encountered female members of staff, and they were all warm and lovely. The woman interviewing me was amazing and even sat talking to me for a while after getting to know me. When I get home, I wasn't in the door long before I get a phone call from them. I nailed the interview. Awesome, I thought, and I was offered the job. I was about to accept when I was told on the phone, "Okay, you'll have to come here tomorrow, and we'll have the van drive you to where you'll be Oh shit, the van, fuck. "Okay, you'll come here tomorrow, and we'll have the van drive you to where you'll be working." And I was like, what? Confused about what they meant. They then told me that I'd be meeting with customers on their behalf and talking and selling stuff. I was not comfortable with this as it wasn't what I was interviewed for, but I gave them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they had a second position that they thought I'd fit in better with. It wouldn't be that weird as a new company, and while not what I was comfortable with, I should hear them out. So I asked more questions, and the woman on the other end of the line is getting more snippy and tense. Gone was the nice, friendly woman from earlier, and she would not reveal where I would be going or who I would be meeting with. By this point, plenty of red flags were going off, so I had to decline the offer pretty quick. For anyone curious about what happened after, I reported this as it seemed very dodgy, but when they were checked in on the floor. Oh, I see. Sorry. The typing is just weird. Alex B, yeah, early today, just actually incredibly late is the circumstance here. Imagine this is the stream for yesterday. For anyone curious as to what had happened, I reported this as it seemed very dodgy. But when they were checked in on, the floor was no longer occupied by them. They'd apparently just rented it for a week and were gone. Pradeep, he's laying at my feet. He once smushed. Does anybody's cat ever just like once smushed? Do you guys ever just smush your cat? It's so funny. It's just like you can feel him purring. He's like, I like to be smushed. That'd be cool if I could put my finger on the mic and his purr just permeated through the floor up through my finger into the mic, and you guys could experience that. I wish you guys could experience the purr. Hello. Smoosh the cat. He pretends that he does. And now he placed one paw on my toe, which is funny. Alien vs. Skinwalker in 3D. You thought it was let's read and not let's talk about my cat. Oh no, it's like 50-50 most of the time. Honestly, I'm thinking about going in a different direction with the channel, like just doing primarily cat smushing commentary. I don't know how you guys feel about that. You're gonna smush my mom's cat. That's kind of cute. It's kind of cute, Smoochy. You're watching from a doctor's office. You should just bring it in there as they're doing their thing. What are these for? Yeah, so these, basically I'm recording these stories for my YouTube videos that I'm actually super late today. Well, you know, normally I record them last night and it's like a nighttime experience, you know, but my sleep has been fucked, so I am recording these. I'll get to edit them. I'll get them up on Patreon, and then we'll get them up on YouTube, and they'll be out 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, so. Oh, no, you're good, LeJohn. LeJohn Brames. It's a great name. Does he ever play, bite, or wrestle? He does, yeah. He's actually super docile, though. Like, he doesn't, like, he likes having his belly rubbed and and he likes being like thrown on his back and just carried like a baby and smushed. There's really very little that seems to upset him. Nicholas, don't want to know something weird? I certainly do, my friend. What color's my hair? It's like brown or some shit. I better name the kitten you're rescuing soon or you're suing. How about Megatron? Does that sound like a cool kitty name? Megatron. Okay, so this is story 5. Neighbor's boyfriend hides in my closet. Fuck. You know what sucks about the titles of the Let's Not Meet stuff is that it actually like ruins the story. Like tells you everything that happens in the title. You're like, okay, I guess I don't need to read that. I know exactly what happens. Do any of the stories ever freak me out? Not really, because I guess it's a combination of the fact that I'm like a guy, you know, and like if a person was wandering from their house to their car and to go get, you know, a large hot macchiato with almond milk at Dunkin' Donuts, and in that process, you know, a man jumped from their roof wearing an eagle suit and then grabbed them by the shoulders and flapped away. I feel like I might be able to relate to that one. It might be a little bit scarier, but most of the time I feel like I'm usually the one doing the crime. Just kidding. Louise, I am 30. I just turned 30 back in June. Dirty 30. That'll be his middle name. You were expecting something like Butthole. You can name him Butthole if you want. Butthole Megatron. Butthole Megatron the cat. Oh, I got one. What about Sporm? S-P-O-R-M. Sporm. Come here, Sporm. When I was 11, almost 12, the woman living above me was a coke dealer. The night of my 12th birthday, she went missing. I would provide links to news coverage, but I'm not sure if that would... Oh, whoops. Let's talk about Rule 7. It's very meta. Shit, I just choked on my spit. Choked on some Sporm. Yeah, it's like the evolutionary form of sperm. Sporm. If sperm were a Pokemon. Yeah, it's like a sperm storm. Sporm. We've got a sporm current coming in from the west. So really affected by the lake effect. Going to be showering on us all night. Yeah, name him How do you say iridocyclitis? Iridocyclitis. Spawn. Yeah, it does kind of sound like Spawn. A cat named Mouse. Do I have a face? Kinda. It's covered in sporm right now, so you can't see it. Mike B with the 10 says, "Hey there, I'm a trucker out of the Northwest." Sorry, for some reason I thought that was like a state, but I was like, wait, what? I didn't read that right. Out of the Northwest. Would like you to know you have made many hours of boredom seem to go by with ease. Thank you for everything. You're welcome, my friend. Yeah, my father is in the same realm of work, and he's very into podcasts, and he loves what's his name? Fucking Howard Stern. My dad loves Howard Stern and all that kind of shit, so I am glad that I can be your Howard Stern. Not quite, though. But thank you for the 10. I appreciate that. And Breadmouth the 2 says, at least you can say that, unlike Worcestershire. I thought that was for that. I posted, or had a meme on the meme page where it was like the hardest things to say in life. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. And Worcestershire sass. It's pretty funny. Did you do the voice in the movie Stand By Me? I did. Yeah, I was in Stand By Me back in like 1980. That was me. I played the kid, the guy who got ran over by a train, and remember the dead body they found on the train tracks? That was me. What's the meme page? So yeah, my meme page is at horny computer. So just one word, horny computer. Prepare for a good time. The night of my 12th birthday, she went missing. Not long after, her boyfriend came down to ask if he could use our phone. This was 2004, so having a cell phone was more of an exception than a rule, at least in my area. For a little context, I was home alone at the time while my mom was at work at about... Sorry, I'm fucking up right now. For a little context, I was home alone at the time while my mom was at work about a 5-minute walk away. My mom had let our neighbor and her boyfriend come in to use our phone several other times before, so I assumed nothing was wrong with it and let him in, bringing him into the living room, which is towards the front of our apartment, to use the phone in there. He picks up the receiver, dials a number, waits a few seconds, then hangs up the phone. He does this a couple of more times before the front door of the building opens. You can easily hear the front door open from where we are. It's a very heavy door, the walls are thin, and the way our building is set up, it's a small, old, single-family house converted into apartments. My and my mom's apartment was the only one on the first floor, and our upstairs neighbor's apartment was the only one above us. Irrelevant, but there was also a much smaller apartment below us. My neighbor's boyfriend looked at me, put his pointer finger to his lips like he was trying to shush me, and told me not to tell anyone he was there before speed-walking to my room at the other end of the apartment. I watched my bedroom door close right before there was a loud, hard, cop-like knock on the door. My jaw dropped as I opened the door to see a police officer. He asked if my neighbor's boyfriend was there, and being scared, I stammered out, "Yeah, he just went into my room." The officer asked if he could come in, which I agreed to, and as he was coming in, he asked if I could let his partner in the back door. The officer asked if he could come in, which I agreed to, and as he was coming in, he asked if I could let his partner in the back door and lead him to the room. Sorry. I think my roommate's about to turn on the shower, and it's, like, distracting me. You can hear it through... Well, you guys won't be able to hear it, but my microphone picks it up, which kind of stinky poops. Ella Rose Abel with a 10. Fear is one of the only emotions I feel because of major depression, so your uploads are invaluable to me. Thank you for what you do. Thank you, Ella. Thank you. Yeah, maybe that's a good point. I always was curious, like, why people really enjoy, like, horror games and horror movies. Like, I enjoy them, but, like, maybe more so horror games are scary to me because they just are too... It's like too much, like, it's just, I don't really like being scared sometimes, you know what I mean? But then I was thinking, like, maybe there are certain aspects of the human mind that, like, kind of struggle with, manifesting other emotions, and then being able to kind of manifest those through horror, or at least experience external sensations that are beyond what is more consistent for them, is why people are into horror and stuff like that. So that's pretty interesting thought, actually, so I appreciate that insight. And because I'm really into comedy. I don't know, I just love comedy and really out there, like, thoughts. I do love horror, but maybe it's like, so, it's just, I always enjoyed, like, the old, what is it, Greek or something, where it's just like the two different sides of things, where it's like life is either like a comedy or a tragedy kind of thing. And I feel like we're all kind of, like, drawn towards one or the other. Maybe both. A dark commentary or a dark comedy. I do enjoy dark comedies. Those are fun because I do make a lot of, like, dark jokes. Didn't you read this story before, or was it something similar? I don't recognize it related to a cocaine dealer who went missing, because usually eventually, we're about 5 paragraphs in, and, like, something usually tickles my taint, as far as if your taint is where you keep most of your memories, which I'm pretty sure is true. And I haven't felt the tinge yet. Tragedy is comedy. That's true. Das ist true. Smiles and cries. All the good stuff. The officer asked if he could come in, which I agreed to, and as he was coming in, he asked if we could let his partner in the back door and lead them to my room. We walked together to the back of the apartment, and I let his partner in. The back door to the apartment was right next to my bedroom door, but we had to walk around the kitchen table to get there. There was just barely enough space between the two doors to fit a narrow rectangular table against it without blocking the path to either door. As I let them into my room, I watched as they pulled my neighbor's boyfriend out of my bedroom closet. As they brought him out of my room and towards the back door, which just led to an enclosed fire escape, they told me to go wait in the living room while they brought him out the back door. I walked back to the living room, and after they closed the door, I could hear what they were saying, and I could hear the distinct sound of metal clicking, and quickly realizing that he had been handcuffed. Still scared, I waited for the police car to drive away before grabbing my keys, making sure that the back door was locked, and locking the front door on my way out before running to my mom's work, crying. Pretty sure I cut the 5-minute trip into about 2 minutes, and I've never been a fast runner. I was fueled entirely on adrenaline and fear at that point, and whoops, sorry, that sounded a bit strange. Alec, you having a drink, my friend? It's a bit early, don't you think? Joel's popping off so early. Yeah, we're switching it up, baby. Like I said, this is like ultra late, because these stories are actually going to go up today. So I am behind schedule. Pretty sure I cut the 5-minute trip into about 2 minutes, and I've never been a fast runner. I was fueled entirely on adrenaline and fear at that point, and I just wanted my mom. When I told her what had happened, my mom was so angry that he had used me the way he had, hiding out in a child's bedroom closet, of all places, to try to keep the cops from finding him. She gave me a short but gentle lecture that night about not letting people in to use the phone, telling me that I was not to let people use our phone, even if I knew them, unless she was home. I don't want to know exactly what he was. I don't want to know what exactly he was wanted for, nor do I want to know what would happen if the cops had not shown up. I don't know if he had known that the cops were on their way and had come to my apartment specifically to hide from them, or if he was up there. Sorry, I'm like having a difficult time reading spooky stories. Too much coffee. I don't know if he had known that the cops were on their way and had come to my apartment specifically to hide from them, or if he was up to something else and knew it was the cops when the front door of the... What? Yeah. Okay, so this last sentence is confusing. Or if he was up to something else and knew it was the cops when the front door of the building, and then it just says period. So it's just... Maybe, yeah, opened, or I'll just say opened. I don't know. I don't know if he had known that the cops were on their way and had come to my apartment specifically to hide from them, or if he was up to something else and knew it was the cops when the front door of the building was opened. What story is this, if anyone knows? So that was story 5. So we got 2 more stories. These are the pretty, actually, yeah, these are pretty lengthy and girthy stories. So, still probably got about a solid 20 minutes of reedy boy action, maybe a half hour. Imagine my readings unedited. Yeah, I remember like when I first started YouTube, and I was reading, I forget what I was reading, but basically I made so many mistakes, and it was so frustrating, you know what I mean? And so I like, and it was difficult. It was like just took a lot of time, like until I like now if you listen to me like in some of my like when I go to Discord and people are chatting, and they can hear me, you know, editing, and it's like it sounds like I'm like, you know, just going like because I like pretty much figured out the science of, you know, editing like long shit, like long form audio together really quickly. But back when I first started, I was like so lazy, and it was like, you know, I obviously wasn't doing this for a living, so I was just like, well, maybe I'll just like record, and if I fuck up, I'll just keep going, so I don't have like a bunch of like stuff to edit. And I tried that, it didn't go terribly bad, but I just like would keep reading when I messed up, and I remember like just getting like one comment where it was like some old dude, like based on a old science fiction or some classic that I read. They're like, you know, for a professional YouTube channel, it's very disappointing to hear you, you know, not show respect to an old like to an old story like this by not appropriately editing out your mistakes and stuff. And I was just like, at the time I was like, oh, my heart, I guess I'm a professional YouTube channel and I need to be held to a different standard or some shit. But so at that point I was like, well, never again. I will always edit my shit so it doesn't sound terrible. Karen 98653 with the 10 says, hey man, don't worry about the scheduling. It's more important to take care of yourself first. We love you, dude. So just be sure to indulge in as much self-care as you need. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's like weird, like how much sleep you need, you know what I mean? Like, not that you need, but that you can, like, sometimes I just find myself just like sleeping to the point where it's like impossible for me to sleep anymore. And then if I don't get those kind of sleep hours like consistently, I'll just like throughout the day, like, to find myself my eyes starting to just fall, or just like feeling like complete poopy. Hey Jensen, what's up? And there's Carrie. Hi Carrie. Says, this is actually a great idea. Daytime stream, lots of new faces. Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, I wonder if any like new people would wander into the, you know, when they're otherwise not normally free in the evening time, just to kind of get a taste of what live streams are like. Also, anybody who's new here, you know, if you wanted to watch this live stream or any of the older live streams, you know, if you find these fun, there's a live stream playlist in the playlist option on the YouTube channel that you can click through, and that's a lot of fun. Mr. Robin, what is up, my dude? Welcome. It says, yeah, rest in peace, Boba Fett mug. Dude, I was talking about that earlier. It's so sad. It's like watching an old friend, you know, like fall off a cliff. Because I was like excited to tell you guys in Discord, dude, I got my, you know, my good mic that I'm using right now to like work again on Discord because it was having issues in the past. And then as I moved the microphone arm to like bring it to my mouth to say hello, it just also like moved the mug that I had sat in a weird spot, just like, and you could just like see it in slow motion, like, no, and it's like, psh. It sucks that like in the span of 2 feet, 24 inches of hot falling action can just like shatter your favorite mug. But actually, I wonder, I guess this opens up new opportunities for new mugs, new ways to drink. Lejean Brames, would you pronounce it Lejean or Lejean? Is it a soft J? Lejean Brames. Ivani says, I'm new here and I love it. I usually have night shifts, so it's harder to listen to live. Oh, nice, dude. I'm glad new people are stopping by and saying, what's up, Pyro? What's going on? Maple Bucks, yeah, from Jenna. Thank you for the 20 with the Beaver Buck. Says, sorry, I've typed my message in the chat. Oh, yes, let me find that real quick. Wait, where's that? Maybe I'm scrolling up. Maybe it was, or maybe it's coming afterwards. Just if you can at me with what you would like to say. But thank you for the 20. I appreciate that. What headset mic do I use? Yeah, so I use a AKG C214 for streaming, which you're hearing right now in this beautiful tone. And then for recording, I use an H4n. I feel like maybe I should include that in my about page, just on the offshoot that like people want to find out about that stuff if they want to start their own stuff. Says, okay, Joel, it's either just me or it's you, but you are crazy. I was on a story 2, it cut out, and I find out we're on story 3, but when it ended, you said the next story was going to be story 5. What's going on? You know, maybe you were... what I've noticed sometimes is that like people in the live chat will say stuff, respond to stuff that I said like an hour ago. So sometimes I kind of wonder if, based on the fact whether or not they like are receiving, info from the YouTube servers at a different rate, or it's like as if though it's like starting you at a different point or something like that, but at the same time the live chat is live. And then if you were to like have to reset it or get pulled somewhere, or it brings you to the actual finish. Because I've got people messaging me that said like, hey, your live stream just cut out last night or whatever, and I was like, well, I made it to the end of the live stream, so maybe then once I cut out the feed to people who are like completely live, those that are like on the VOD, you know what I mean, like or like almost like you can pause live TV and go backwards, and like it's like recording it so you can catch up to it. It also cuts them out too, or whatever, So that's why, even though I know it's not as fun to like go back, not as fun to go back and rewatch old live streams because they're not like live, I definitely always will put them on that playlist in case someone would like to hear something funny that was said before, or just experience that. Jenna with another 10 maple syrup bucks says, I swear you're still my number one. Thank you, Jenna. Thank you. My number one. And Kobus says, hey, I've been subscribed for a while now, but I'm new to watching live streams and loving it. Thank you, Kobus. Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty much this where, normally we do it late at night, like 9 to 10 p.m. starting point on the East Coast of the U.S. But, basically it's just, I'm like, for a while I was like, okay, I want to live stream, I want to interact with the audience, but like, how do I do it? And I was like, oh, I'll just record my stories live and all the content will be there. Yes, Jessica, you motivated me. Really, I don't require a lot of motivation. Like any sort of feedback is what sends me to work harder. Joel, where Pradeep? He's behind me on the bed, all sprawled out. I wonder if like cats are just like constantly dreaming. They're like, someone should make like an animation or like write a story about where your cat goes for 18 hours of the day, and the reason that they sleep, it's because they're like in some like, instead of Club Penguin, it's like Club Catwin, and they're just at some like big orgy or something like that, or like a big party. Ginji, thank you. Alright, so we're on story 6. Give them all the pets. Pity pet pet, pity pet pet pet. I have aged since then. I do not fall for these tricks as easily as I did then. I still hope for the good in people, but I usually doubt it's there for a while. I went to beauty school just after high school, so I was just learning what it was like to be an adult, work, go to school, and socialize all at the same time. If you've ever gone to beauty school, you know the hours are pretty lengthy, and it's a lot of work in a short amount of time. You also know that you're mostly crammed with a lot of women of different ages and a few boys. If there's a straight man in school and he's even mildly attractive, obviously considering you're attracted to that type of person, most women in school are just so at awe because it's the only male person we are seeing during most of our weeks. That takes me to Dave, a few years older than me, tall, drives a Ducati to school, mysterious and handsome. Every girl was always putting on a little extra makeup, turning their hips towards him, flirting when he was around. He was cute, quiet, and always knew what to say. I wasn't as interested in catching his eye till he randomly asked me to meet up with him for a bite one day after school. I was single, needing to experience dating for the first time, and he didn't seem that bad to hang out with. Things started off very sweet and genuine. He'd send goodnight texts, joke with me at school, and even genuinely seemed like he wanted to hang out more and more. We'd go to bars, and he knew everyone, so I could just get right in. I was underage at the time. We'd go eat, see shows, two-step, drink. I felt like I was starting to feel like an adult, enjoying the life and being wooed by a handsome, slightly older man. We'd drive around on his bike. He'd take me to nice, quiet dinners, always offered to pay, and even did little things like hold his arm out when I walked downstairs or off a curb. I'd never experienced this type of gentleman before, but as quickly as the sweet dates came, so did a very weird, calculated, and controlling behavior. He would start to ask why I didn't smile with my teeth. Was it because I was embarrassed of myself? He would sit behind me working at school and taunt me about how slow I was. He'd say things like, "Don't sit like that," or "Say things that way, that's not what ladies do," and "I'm a lady, right? Don't wear that lipstick, it's trashy." But I guess maybe I was being inappropriate. Maybe he's right. I should act more like an adult than a child, be better at school, look more like an adult. He brought me to his house one night, a place he rented a room from. Suddenly, this stoic Edward Cullen type turned into a person I didn't recognize, outside of the random mood shift. His room was filled with clothing and garbage, like old Gatorade bottles filling the floors. There was a TV and a bed. Of all the things I could really make out in the room, he brushed dirt off of his bed for me to sit down. I hung out for a while, and he oddly confessed he never brushes his teeth. Okay, well, looking at this room, I could believe that. He also mentioned that he just bought new clothes when he needed them and never washed the dirty ones, just left them there. This was all in the first 2 to 3 weeks. Kind of a red flag, if you ask me. The lights were off at one point, and we're watching a show, and I see a light like a cell phone right outside the window behind the TV. I jumped and get his attention, but he had to have... Oops. Chris says, "I normally listen to your previous live streams at work, so actually having a live one working while working is awesome." Nice, Chris. I'm glad you could make it. Hip popping. Anybody? Yeah. Are you guys? Anybody else pop their hips towards a male friend? Hannah stands a dirty man. She's like, "Oh my God, dirt on your bed. Let me roll around in it." It's weird. It's like, it's not even fucking hard to just put your Gatorade bottles in the goddamn trash, dude. It's like weird. Brush your teeth, brush your goddamn teeth. Perfect live stream for a wake and bake. Wakey and bakey. It's like a bunch of like cockroaches on the bed. Oh, sorry, those are... You can move those to the side. It's kind of, what was that one meme? It was like, you can just throw those in the back, and it like shows like the front passenger seat, and it's just like covered in frogs. It's really funny. If you pop your hip, you'd fall over. Ooh, just like, wait, it's like, oh, I see, like your hips pop to the side, so you're like, it's like a flirty stance or some shit. Used to have water bottles lit in your room. It's all good. We all live in a mild form of pigsty. I jump and get his attention, but he had to have seen. He brushes it off, saying it must just be a roommate, though I notice he's texting someone at the same time. I let it go for the night, eventually go home, but still feel uncomfortable. Then the phone calls start happening, and the stories of his ex. They'd lived together. She was 10 years older than him and had a 6-year-old kid. She was crazy. If he and I would hang out, I'd suddenly start getting calls from an unknown number the minute I walked in my door. They would ring till my voicemail got them, and no one would say a word till the message ran out of time. They'd happen every 10 minutes for 3 or so hours. I asked him about this, if it was him, and he said it may just be his crazy ex. But how would she have my number? He'd say, well, I have to give her some of her things, and she stole my phone at one point, must have taken your number. Still, the gentlemanly dates would happen, and the gifts. The gifts. Sending roses and coffee to my work, showing up with a massage and spa packages every week. We still saw each other at beauty school almost daily, and he'd be kind, but it was always hush-hush until it was outside of school. I was torn. Is this person lying? Or is this the first kind of person to want to date me? Maybe he just has some flaws and a crazy ex. Then the texts and Facebook messages started coming, clarifying it was her. He's told me about your messed up life and secrets you've told him. I know he just saw you. I know you were at his house. I was outside his window looking in. Your red dress was nice. He laughs about you. Poor you. Just a stupid little girl. And stuff like that over and over. I'd block her, then she'd have friends send me the same BS. She freaked me out, and he always denied it and apologized for her behavior. Then there were days he wouldn't show up for school, and she would text me during the day saying they were together, sending pictures of him. I tried to confront. Whoopsie daisies. Chimera with the 10. Thank you, Chimera. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I remember there's like a clip of like Alex Jones saying about like chimera. They're talking about chimeras. These things are mixed between humans and fucking cats. They're cat people. The cat people are taking over. They're scratching our couches. They're pooping in our sandboxes. The chick has no self-esteem. Yeah, there's a lot of that in these kind of stories, but I mean, usually they clarify, like, I was young and didn't fucking know, didn't have a sense of self-esteem. The question for you, though, is, like, how, like, if you're a father, okay, hypothetically you're a dad or a parent or whatever, like, how do you instill in your kid, like, to have that sort of self-esteem, you know what I mean? Or to, like, because I feel like that's almost something. Is that something you can impart upon them as a parent, or is that just something that every kid just has to go through, is like kind of lacking that until they kind of have the life experiences? I don't know. I'm just curious. I tried to confront him, but he always denied having anything to do with her and repeating that she wanted to ruin his life. Then she started going to my work, telling my coworkers she was my friend and would color things on kids' menus like Boy Slayer 666 plus Dave Heart Her. What? Is that the person's username? It is the person's username. Okay. I gotta clarify that that's her name. I was like, who the fuck's Boy Slayer 666? With my son, it's just a constant, you're so handsome and you're smart. Okay, yeah, I feel like that, if you repeat that kind of stuff and you just instill in them, like, that they have value and shit like that, you know what I mean? I feel like that's just, like, such an important thing for parents that a lot of parents probably realize and probably do, but, maybe some of them don't quite know, like, how powerful it is, like, getting ahead of them, you know what I mean? Getting ahead of their thoughts. Because a lot of their thoughts, especially in, like, middle school, high school and shit, it goes to some dark places for young kids. I remember my buddy, like, he doesn't even like, he's like 10 years older than me. We met through nursing and stuff, but, he's got daughters a daughter, his oldest daughter, she's like 14, 15 or something like that. And, like, all of his kids, super smart, super awesome, but, like, he purposefully, like, doesn't let any of them have like social media and that kind of stuff because of just the studies that he's seen that, like, when it comes to a girl who's, like, in high school, it's just, like, statistically shown that a girl with, like, a lot of interaction with social media is just, I don't know, like, a ridiculously amount times more likely to be depressed, and I can see it, you know what I mean? Like, even with me in high school, like, as just a goofy boy, having social media, like, it's probably one of the places that's got me into a lot of just embarrassing scenarios, you know what I mean? Like, when you're in high school and you just don't know what the fuck you're doing, and you're trying, you're high school, middle school kind of scenario, and you're like, I don't know, you message people through stuff, and you just come off like a dingle dick, and then you just feel bad about yourself or whatever, or, you look at other people's lives and compare yourself. Everybody knows that social media is, like, toxic, and I don't know if it's more so for girls, because they're obviously, you can tell, like, you can just superficially look and see that the social media world of women and girls is so vastly different as a whole compared to, like, guys, I feel like guys posts a lot of like joke videos, and not to say that they don't post like a bunch of like stupid fashion shit, but like girls, you know, especially on Instagram, like as you see it everywhere, like it's like a competition to like really be a certain level of aesthetic, you know what I mean? And I feel like to me that would, like, if I was a girl that was experiencing social media, it would just be like, I feel like it would just superficially be too much for my mind to handle, you know what I mean? But it's all good. Raven says, I think it is hard for girls because they hate on each other so much and we're shown what a perfect body is from a young age. Yeah, that sucks, you know? I feel like it's important in kid, like parent, that's where the parents have to step in and just say like, listen, like there's a fucking, you know, there's a perception of what you need to be, but I need to instill the truth in you that is a false perception, and you are much more valuable than any of that, you know, on an individual level. So just let that shit fall to the wayside and fuck that. Down with Twitter, yeah. Twitter's different too, because Twitter's like, a lot of kids are like, you know, on TikTok and Instagram primarily, like the Gen Z types or whatever. I don't know if that's the right gen or whatever. Gen Qbert. But then like the millennials, their toxicity seems to exist primarily in the like sort of political realms of Twitter and that kind of shit. And it's even worse there because it's like, it gets to the point where people just like literally want to ruin each other's lives, or not even ruin each other's lives, but it's like they encourage it, you know what I mean, or they are complicit with it, or they agree with it, and it's just such a strange divisive platform, you know. And it's just, you know, it's weird. It's like if you interact with people, I don't know. If you interact with people, you talk to them face to face, you realize that we're not all that different, you and I. We are much more the same than you could ever imagine. From the same ilk. Then she started going to my work, telling my coworkers she was my friend and would color things on my kids' menu, like on kids' menu, sorry. Oh shit. Well, twerky twerk. Brittany with a $50 donation. Holy shizzard blizzard. Says, hi Joel, you're pretty great. Thank you, Brittany. You're pretty great as well. And incredibly generous with a $50 donation. Holy shit. Clap them cheeks. Clap them cheeks. That'd be so funny, just like me and like Pradeep like twerking at the same time. Or he's just like using his paws to like jiggle my butt. Kimberly, thank you. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, the culture, yeah, I mean, it's yeah, the culture between, it's not to say that men don't go through the experience of like, you know, superficiality and stuff, is that the right word? Superficiality. But on social media and that kind of thing. But I think we're wired in a certain way to not feel as like negative when we're ostracized. You know what I mean? Like whenever the group think tells us as men that we're no good, or the, you know, the sort of wave of many minds at one time like pushing towards a particular direction, like, you know, if we see certain trends as guys, like, or not necessarily trends, because I'm not trying to negate like people's ability to like independently think, but there's a certain weight that seems to be held for women to sort of like assimilate, you know what I mean, to assimilate to a certain look or a certain thought process or a certain you know, aesthetic, you know, and all these particular things, you know, that puts pressure on them to like fit in or be something so beyond what is realistic, you know what I mean, that it doesn't allow for a lot of like deviation from that. And, you know, it just sucks, you know, it sucks to see, because I think I think we all like. I think we all recognize the sense of like the sense of pointlessness of trying to fit into a particular culture or society or trying to be the perfect whatever. But at the same time, it's like our perception or worry about what other people think about us is like so amplified in our own sort of like fictional world that other people perceive us as, and we worry about what other people perceive us as in comparison to what they actually see us as. Because like I've said this before, like if you've ever had like a thought, say you've had a negative thought about that bitch Kelly, you know what I mean, or not just that's just a random name, or that jackass down the road, you know what I mean. You have those negative thoughts, but like if you think about it, it doesn't like they're usually pretty fleeting thoughts. Like they pass your mind, you're frustrated with somebody, but then most of the time you're focused on yourself. You know what I mean? You're focused on yourself. You think negatively of someone briefly, but there's most likely a chance that like that person could actually redeem themselves to you pretty quickly because you kind of like innately desire peace anyways. So like you might dislike someone at one point, but that sort of vehement distaste that you had them in a moment is so fleeting that like, but then when it goes to the other person's perception, if they hear that you, or say you've heard someone had a negative thought about you, why is it just the concept of your worry about their perception of you is so much worse than their actual perception of you? You know what I mean? So in a lot of ways, we almost like we self-regulate, we self-hate a lot of the times, and I think that's where a lot of like the negativity stems. Is just like deep within our psyche. But if you communicate with other people and you really dig into what they even think about you or even care, like you'll come to the conclusion that we're all just pretty much focused on ourselves. And like if you can figure out how to like love yourself, and just appreciate who you are, and literally figure out the if you can place yourself in other people's shoes and realize that even the most grandiose amount of like hate that you've had for someone else is so fleeting, you'll realize that the hate that you think that they have for you, or like your worry about what they think, is so utterly pointless. It's so pointless to even place any weight on someone else's opinion, when in reality you realize that your own opinion of someone else carries nothing. You know what I mean? So you might as well not let them even be a fleeting thought. Miss Molly with a 5 says, "Hi, my love. How are you? Experimenting with a different time for live stream." Yeah, I was missed Sunday because of my sleep schedule and just being in a very tired state of mind. And then yesterday I was up since like 5 with like little sleep, and I just like couldn't fall back asleep. And then I went about my day feeling pretty normal. But then when I got to 9 p.m., it just like I just crashed really hard and like had to make a little tweety tweet that I could not stream, and I felt bad because I feel bad leaving you guys hanging here, but I always appreciate coming back to you. You have an idea for the next video for Friday? Should be catfish horror stories. Nice, Nicholas. Yeah, I do have a few volumes of catfish stories on the channel if you check them out. But I'm always, if you guys have any more, please do send them in, because I'd love to make another volume, obviously. Okay, let's continue on. Then she started going to my work, telling my coworkers she was my friend and would color things on the kids' menus like my name plus Dave, heart her, and tell them she wanted me to have it. She'd send me a random picture of him in a booth at my work, and I'd put the pieces together when I got there and got her notes, asking my coworkers where she was sitting and what she looked like. It was gross and embarrassing, let alone scary. My car was broken into at school, and nothing was taken from it but a bill that had my address on it. I then was so scared. I'd come home at any point in time, and she'd start calling me over and over as soon as I closed the door behind me. I felt trapped. She would call my work and school saying she was my mom and try to get more info on me, or call them as a customer trying to get me fired. My roommates finally kicked me out because they were rightfully freaked out, so I turned to the police. They put me in contact with a detective who I had all of the calls, who I handed, sorry. Yeah, Alex, that's a great way to surmise what I was getting at. Is yeah, you'll stop worrying about what others think of you when you realize of how seldom they do. Yeah. They put me in contact with a detective who I handed all of the calls, texts, and messages, plus notes she left at my work. I never answered the phone or responded to a single message from her. I had hundreds of calls, texts for at least a month. They came in every day from the same number. I never blocked that number after the first few were blocked, so I could keep a log of all the attempts. Plus, I kept a journal of every incident leading up to me coming to the police, just in case. I watched a lot of crime documentaries. He told me that there was nothing he could do to trace the number back to a specific person, and since she hadn't threatened my physical safety, his hands were tied. The very next day, he calls me and is furious, telling me he can't help me if I'm harassing her back. I was confused, and when I asked what he meant, he said, "You're calling a mother non-stop throughout the night, telling her... Oops. You're calling a mother non-stop throughout the night, terrifying her and her kid." Because I was the 20-year-old and she was 36, of course he's going to believe the adult, but I never called her. He asked me to come to his office to show me his evidence he had a... Wait. He asked me to come to his office to show me his evidence he has against me. She's forwarded him tons of texts saying things like, "You're... oh, fuck. Wait, sorry, this one says, "You little whore cunt, who I hope loses their kid." I don't know if I can say that in the video. She's forwarded him tons of texts, saying things like, well, I can't really say them here, but they were just toxic, just full of malice, and I just broke down. I would never say something like that she had shown to someone, and... sorry. I would never say some of the things that she had said that I said, and I know I didn't send these tons of texts, especially overnight when I had school the next day. He didn't believe me and completely dismissed me. He ultimately turned against me and was now on her side, and this was crushing. I broke things off for good with David, basically told him to screw off. We still had to go to school together, and he was terrible. I embarrassed myself in front of my friends, defending him for so long, my work and my school, who I had to beg to make sure that this girl didn't come around again, and a detective who ultimately didn't believe a word I'd said, so just... fuck, I don't know why I'm messing this up. Leaving the doctor, they said I was well hydrated. No one can call me thirsty now. That's funny. Becky, thank you. I'm glad. Jessica Joel Stir, I gladly accept credit for making your stream early and making everyone happy. Yeah, you did it. You done it. You done it. You done it. I embarrassed myself in front of my friends defending him so long. My work, my school, who I had to beg to make sure this girl didn't come around again, and a detective who ultimately didn't believe a word I said, just to get some peace. My friends were tired of seeing me scared, stressed, and constantly talking about this weird situation happening to me. I was over it all. She finally left me alone once I moved, got a new car, new phone, deleted social media, but it still freaks me out that we all live in the same town. She messaged me a few years ago from a different account when I was back on social media and said she was sorry, that she was manipulated by Dave and that they did this to too many girls. This was disturbing and gut-wrenching to me. Did a mother of a 6-year-old really have nothing better to do than play messed up mind games with a sociopath, Maybe two sociopaths to... Oops. Maybe two sociopaths together, I guess. Hey, see you, Amanda. Have a good night. Have a good night. Or, well, I guess it's not night. I'm just, like, used to saying night while these streams are going on. It's weird. I, like, expected this to turn into a story about the guy, but she seems to have dodged a bullet there. Yeah, only care about people's opinions if you value them. I know. That is the tough thing. Those are the people that are really hard to sort of let go of. Waking up to Joel's voice. Is this Christmas? Father, is this Christmas? It is, son. It is. Sean K. Reapers, what's up, dude? Well, this is going to be the final and 7th story of the afternoon. Hope everyone's having a good day. Either it's still summer for you or you're having a good day at work, wherever you're at. Do I say oops when I'm not streaming? Not when I'm talking, I guess. Like, basically, how I'm talking to you guys right now is how I would probably talk IRL. But, like if I was recording without streaming. No, I think I get, like, more angry, honestly, if, like, I'm not in front of people. Like, I'm like, fuck. And then I, like, lay back on my bed and I'm like, it's so fucking hot.
So fucking hot. I need a pizza. Oh.
Okay. It was probably only after my close call that my mind really started to run away with what could have happened were it not for my dog. I'm a 26-year-old female. I live with my fiancé, my 2 cats, and my dog Rowan. Our house is literally less than a minute away from a huge farmer's field that is frequented by many dog walkers at all times of the day. Me and my significant other often take turns walking Rowan around the field throughout the day. It was only around 7:30 p.m. and it was still really bright and sunny. Rowan was letting me know it was time to go for a walk, so while my partner was tinkering in the garage, I grabbed his lead and headed to the field. Let me quickly tell you about Rowan. He's a 2-year-old Rottweiler who is very loving and playful, if a little daft, but would not hurt a fly, not a bad bone in his body. He's also extremely well trained. He made sure to put the effort in as he's a big dog breed with a bad rep, so wanted to make a point of not feeding and... I was like, the dog made the effort? The dog, like, they have a bad perception of me. I want people to understand that I'm a good boy. It was cute, yeah. The dogs that I was playing with yesterday, my buddy who was visiting in town, he brought his dogs, and one of them was a golden retriever, and man, it was so cute. Like, he just, like, constantly would, like, run up to you and, like, run up to your legs, like, go in between your legs, but then, like, come in front of you and, like, sit down as if to, like, I don't know, like, to protect you or something, or just, like, he just, like, tried so hard to conjoin himself, you know, with you. And it was really cute, you know, and you could just, like, tell him to sit, and he would come at your feet and just sit and just, like, wait. And I'm like, holy shit. I've never met a dog that's been obedient like this. Did I really just do 6 stories and not say digress? I know, we haven't gotten one. Is that something that's said in the stories a lot? But I digress. I guess they do say that from time to time. I think the one that I hear a lot, the most, that kind of annoys me is, like, I noped out of there. I'm like, oh, God, I hate that. And then this one doesn't annoy me so much, but it's, like, very common. I didn't think anything of it. You know, they always say, I didn't think anything of it. And I guess it makes sense, like, that's something you would say when indicating that later on you will think something of it. You know what I mean? But it's, like, such a common... I'm sure you guys probably know other things that are said in these stories that are you just, like, hear all the time over and over again, and they kind of, like, stick out in your brain. Oh, it was so cute too. The freaking my buddy's mother-in-law, or I guess soon to be mother-in-law, like she had a dog that was rescued, and he was like this huge like mix between a Saint Bernard and a lab, and it was so cute. And like every time he'd look at me, he would do like a what I thought was a snarl at first. Um, I thought I thought it was a snarl, but like I realized he was fucking smiling. Like this every time this dog looked at me, he was doing like a smile. Like he was so fucking happy that he's just like like it was I don't know, it was so cute. Like it's like holy shit, this dog is stoked. This dog is stoked to look at my face. We made sure to put the effort in, as he's a big dog breed with a bad rep, so wanted to make a point of not feeding stereotypes. I'm very much of the opinion of there's no bad dogs, just bad owners. Unfortunately, we've had some run-ins with some not-so-good owners, so Rowan gets a little nervous when meeting new dogs and people, but we're working on it. Now back to the story. We're walking around the farmer's field. Rowan is off sniffing and peeing on every blade of glass. Blade of glass? Does anyone here play Roblox? I watched people play it. I thought it was neat that there was a bunch of like mods that like people could get into. Like if I was a kid, I'd be like all over Roblox and Minecraft probably, but I should get a dog. I know, I should, but I just like I don't know. Maybe if I ever get like a house that has like a yard and some shit, I'll probably do that. I keep saying that, but I guess the more I talk about it, the more it just like fulfills a certain satisfaction in my brain without actually doing it. Rowan is off sniffing and peeing on every blade of glass. Why the fuck can I say it's like try and say a blade of grass. I mean, it's not that hard to actually say, but for some reason I keep saying blade of glass. Rowan is off sniffing and peeing on every blade of grass in sight. I always keep an eye out for other walkers anyway, due to Rowan being a little nervous, and I clocked a guy on his own, walking down the path towards me fairly far away. At first I thought nothing of it, as plenty of people walk this route without dogs. We were just coming out of lockdown in the UK. As the guy got closer, I noticed he was in a full tracksuit with the hood up, which was odd, as it was like 23 degrees, so shorts and a t-shirt weather. He then took a small path off the field leading through some bushes. It was a public-made shortcut rather than an official public footpath, but it was well enough used, so I kept walking, thinking nothing of it. At about 15 meters away from the path he took, Rowan shot back to my side, immediately dropping the mouthful of dirt he had been pretending not to eat. He's not the smartest. I pat him, and noticed he was standing super alert, staring at the path entrance. When I looked up, I caught a glimpse of the man peeking around the edge of the bushes that concealed the entrance. I stopped dead in my tracks, and Rowan was... Whoops. Yeah, imagine if you had a yard full of glass. I guess that would be easier. It is kind of weird that, like... I mean, grass isn't bad, you know what I mean? But it's weird because, like... Isn't it, like, technically, like, a weed, you know? And, yeah, like, it's so much... we waste so much money on like mowing the lawn and things of that nature. I was like, I wonder if you could like calculate out the amount of money it would cost based on how much you spend in like lawn care to just like installing a bunch of obviously everybody's lawn would be different, and then dogs pooping on it and stuff would be bad, but how much it would cost to just install a bunch of like turf grass, you know what I mean, a bunch of turf, and you just like never would have to worry about doing your lawn again. I guess that would probably upset some like homeowners associations. Just remember, if you get a dog, you're part of their pack, and that's how they see you. Yo, we pack boys. We pack in heat. When I looked up, I caught a glimpse of the man peeking around the edge of the bushes that concealed the entrance. I stopped dead in my tracks, and Rowan's fur stood on end as he positioned himself in front of me. It took me a second to realize that this man had been watching and waiting in the bushes for me to approach. My current route would have meant that I'd be walking right by the path opening. My stomach dropped as I realized we were the only ones around on that field. I had this weird moment where I was almost trying to convince myself that I was overreacting, but then the guy whistled. Not a wolf whistle, but as if to try and get my dog to come to him. Rowan was having none of that, though, and I definitely took that as my cue to trust my stranger danger instincts. I immediately turned and sped walk back the way we came, simultaneously pulling my phone out and dialing my partner's number. I ended up having to clip on Rowan's lead on to get him to walk with me, and he was not taking his eyes away from the path. He was even growling a little, which was so out of character and put me on edge even more. I glanced back, and the man had edged slightly out of the bushes and walked. Watching me walk away. My partner answered the phone after a few rings. I was only halfway through stammering out the story, and he was already sprinting up the field to meet me, telling me to stay on the phone, but to keep an eye on the man. The man in the tracksuit now fully came out of the bushes and just stood staring at me, walking away. I dared a quick look away from him towards the entrance to the field to see my fiancée jogging towards me. He was relieved I was okay, but was also immediately pointing and shouting, "Is that him?" Clearly furious at what this man might have had in his mind had Rowan not picked up on him hiding in the bushes. I eventually convinced my fiancée not to confront him as he was still stood staring, almost taunting us. You never know what people might be. Oops. You never know what people might be. Bags of shit. Okay, let's do this. I eventually convinced my fiancée not to confront him as he was still stood staring, almost taunting us. You never know what people might be capable of, or have concealed. We came off of the field and took Rowan on a different walk, which he was more than happy about. I've never been so proud of him for stepping up and protecting me. Safe to say, he got plenty of treats and fussing when we got home. Yeah, that was a beatbox. Yeah, you guys feel that?
Do y'all feel that? I'm having a stroke.
You miss having your own yard. Yeah, that sounds nice. Well, my friends. Oh, Angel, you just woke up. Oh shit, sorry. I guess we have reached the finale of the stream here. Donald Duck. Spinning on them ones and on them twos, baby. That was just a little bit of a stroke. Just a quick one. I was feeling it, Mr. Krabs. I was feeling it. Alright, guys. Well, we have reached the end of the Stram. You guys are going to have to think of something funny for me to say here at the end. If you guys aren't familiar, usually I read my outro that you're used to hearing, but I usually allow the, the chat to have a little bit of input on what I should say there, you know? The same thing every day. Thank you. I'm waiting for my crown. I already started drinking. Just H2O and coffee. Your son is a hell of a beatboxer. That's Tourette's. And remember to remember. Lila, thank you. Love you too. Mowing the lawn sucks. Get turf grass. Yeah, smoosh your cats. I probably will say that. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. And if you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let's Read Official, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends. And remember to always smoosh your cats. Mow your glass. Glass mower. Yeah, what would you mow glass with? I always imagine, like, some of those, like, alien movies, there's, like, just a bunch of crystals growing everywhere, and you, like, break them, but then I forget what it was. It was, like, I think it was in Hyper Light Drifter, where you would break the crystals in this one area, but if you stood there, the crystals would grow back, but they would grow around you, so you got, like, frozen, and I think some of the enemies could actually, like, freeze you with the crystal glass or whatever, but, so I assume that's what they have on Andromeda 6 planet. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here for a daytime stream. All these stories that you just heard will be up, well, first on Patreon, which is just $1 a month for early access. It's just cleaned up all of it edited, nice MP3 file for you to download, bring wherever you want. If you are locked inside of a trunk of someone's car, you can, you don't need Wi-Fi for that, so that's nice. And then this video actually will be coming out on YouTube in about 4.5 hours. So I've got a boogie to get that done and edit and all that kind of stuff. But thank you again for being here. I hope to maybe stream, aside from the video coming out tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully I'll be on a good time to stream tomorrow. Probably won't be this early, but I think I've got my sleep schedule on lock. And when I say that very loosely, because most likely not. But anyways, yes, the stream was very litty-titty. Thank you, Lila. Join the Discord if you want to hang out with all of these beautiful people more often, get in voice chat and chitty chat, all that good stuff. And thank you again for your generosity and being amazing people and creating just a super, super nice community. Will there be one tomorrow? Yeah, and also, follow me on Instagram, which is at letsread.official, and mainly Twitter, because Twitter just gives you the most updates the quickest. That's at letsreadcreepy. And, of course, my meme page at Horny Computer. But if you follow me on Twitter, I'll be able to keep you up to date if a stream is going live or if it is not. Otherwise, just turn your notification bell on here so you're always, kept up to date, even though it's a little unreliable with YouTube when new videos and new streams go live. But thank you again, guys. Love you oh so much. And Steve, I'm sorry you missed it, my friend. I apologize. But it was good to see everybody. And I hope you have a good day.